Hi, I'm Rob Cram, and today we're taking a look at Konami's Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. And we're going to just basically have a look at the graphical effects and being used in the game. Now, obviously, we've all seen the opening movie from E3, which really exemplifies all of the kind of effects that are on offer: the shadows, the lighting, the texture details, and the general ambience of the game, especially making a mention of the cloth physics being blown about in the wind. But we're going to skip the opening scene and just jump straight into the game. So this is
mission. You've got to stay out of sight.
Been showcased quite a few times.
Use your binoculars to recon the area.
But it gives us a good example of just the general level of detail on offer here. So it's a nighttime mission. Everything is shrouded in darkness, which gives rise to being able to showcase the natural lighting from the lightning and also the floodlights, spotlights from the enemy positions. So the first thing we're going to focus on at the moment is Big Boss, the character himself, the model.
Here we are, not 1 year later, over 300 men strong.
Let's just let Miller finish what he's got to say.
Our 0 hour. Once this mission's behind us, I want to pitch you some ideas about expansion.
Right, so the first thing I want to look at is the character model, Big Boss. And you can see now that this rain is a good excuse for presenting that slippery, shiny kind of material. I'm not sure what the material is made of, but obviously the rain is creating that slippery look, which is nothing new. I mean, we've seen that kind of effect since Chaos Theory on Xbox, in Splinter Cell, but here this is a bit more pronounced and obviously a lot more detail on the character model itself. Now what you will notice here, the lightning, the natural lightning that's coming in at random moments and how that reflects off the character and also off these rocks in the background. You can see that now, which is a pretty cool effect. And then you've got things like this wind, which is blowing through the foliage, giving it a sense of realism here. But I think most impressive obviously is that lighting coming from multiple sources, as you can see. So the Fox engine, which is being used here, is offering lots of dynamic lighting, which will cast shadows. But as we've noticed, it's not casting shadows on all of the things, like the foliage, for example. So what we're going to do, we're going to just sneak up to that first tower. I mean, you can just see now on the ground there that spotlight illuminating the rocks, showing off that wetness of the rocks as it moves across them.
Keep low.
So we'll sprint over here.
Controls on the pause screen. To climb an obstacle, press the action button.
And again, you still got that lightning showcasing off the rocks and varied texture details, as you can see here, which is pretty impressive. I mean, some of this grass is 2D, you can see that here. These kind of for effect pieces of grass. But I think you've got to look at this game in the overall kind of sense rather than individual components. So we'll just grab this guard here, interrogate him, and then just knock him out. So now we've got a viewpoint of the entire base. And now we've got control of the light source, which is giving us a really good example of how this light engine works with the game. Of course, you've got the light now reflecting off the droplets of rain, as you would expect. And then if we look at these tents here, you can now see the wind effects blowing across the surfaces of the fabric. So it's got that wet area and the wind. So really showcasing like the natural elements. So we're going to just turn that light away there. And use our binoculars. So here's a really good example of the multiple light sources, and each one of those casting a dynamic lighting on the wherever it's looking at, which is just an excellent feature of this Fox engine. I mean, you've got another guard over there that's using that spotlight.
What do you see? Press the call button to get more intel.
So he's scanning that area there. So we'll just come off this tower and move on. So this is about the base. Obviously you've got this high powered lighting that's casting its own set of dynamic light. I mean, as you can see here, Big Boss's shadow is cast in the right direction. And you will notice that when you do pan around, you get a kind of a depth of field effect on the character.
Now head east to the old prison area. You can bring up the target's location on your iDroid. Eyes open, boss.
Right, and as showcased before, you've got the drops of rain now hitting this paved concrete surface, and then kind of slightly different effect on the muddy surface.
Contact me if you need advice.
And then you can see it again splashing on this sandbags as well. So they've really done a good job with recreating the elements and how rain interacts with objects within the environment. Pretty much every surface. So we're going to try and sneak up to this second tower.
That rain just won't let up. It'll help you stay out of sight, but watch you don't get hypothermia. You can now either interrogate him, knock him out, or kill him. His life
drag
is
him
in
into
your
the
hands.
office. And then you get a closer look at that character model.
Speak.
And as you can see there, you
should
do
move
get
the
that
bodies
kind
of
of
enemies somewhere out of
motion
sight.
blur effect. So let's just move this light as you can see now, it's not really casting any shadows on the objects as you would expect them to. I mean, look at that post there. Obviously that would be quite a challenge to render that. So let's just move on.
You can move back and forth while hanging. You can also climb back up or let go and drop. Just be sure of your surroundings before you do.
So we'll look at this light source now, and the difference now in light and dark on the character model. Hopefully no one's around to see us do it. Right, and here's now a look at Big Boss with that dynamic lighting coming from behind, illuminating the side of his face and back as you would expect. Showcasing the detail in that sneaking suit. And then obviously you've got that long shadow being cast from the light due to the elevation of the light. Now from here you've got some shadowing from these boxes as well, which weren't as noticeable from up there. And now you can see a shadow from the actual pillar. Now you couldn't notice that when we was up on the tower, but now that we're close to it, you can now see that there is dynamic light shadows on the objects. Obviously not being rendered when you're further away from them. So let's see this sort of chain fence. Let's see if we can get that to just got to make sure I don't get discovered. So you've got these kind of wire fences. So we'll do it here. And there you have it, the dynamic shadows being cast from the wire fence here, which is now also being cast on the character model itself, as you can see now on Big Boss's body. So that's all very impressive stuff. So here comes trouble. So we've got all these kind of light sources, even these small lights here. But these aren't casting any shadows at all.
CP, this is Delta 9. We may have an intruder. Going on alert. Over. This is CP. Understood. Watch for anything suspicious. Out.
If you ready your weapon while crawling, you can move horizontally left or right. If you do that holding the dash button, you'll move faster.
So here you can sort of see the water falling on this muddy surface. Just got to take it easy. A lot of guards here. I could corner grab him, but obviously there's two guards looking. And we've been busted. Time to get out of here. Well, I think that gives you a good idea of the kind of graphic effects on offer. Just run, find somewhere to hide. And you're really noticing kind of the different colour schemes on offer based on the lighting and the surface. I mean, this is a very muddy kind of surface here, with pools of water.
This is Zulu 2. Lost eyes on enemy. Checking last point of contact. Over. This is CP. Understood. Keep your
We're getting a
guard up.
close-up of this kind of material that we were looking at earlier. Not really sensible to be standing in the light in terms of gameplay, but this is really showcasing the game engine and graphic effects. Okay, I'm Rob Cram. Thanks for watching.